The Eassist Dental Solutions Podcast. We are the nation's leader in outsourced dental billing. Our clients require highly skilled dental office managers that can consult with client offices.
Welcome to the Eassist Dental Solutions Podcast. My name is Andres Quintana, and I am your host of this great podcast that we are kicking off again here in 2018. And today I am so excited because we have Dr. James Anderson, DMD, CEO and founder of Eassist Dental Solutions. Doc, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, I am so excited because you guys have received an award last year for one of the fastest growing companies. Would you talk just a little bit about that and what that means to you?
Sure. And I think even more importantly, what it means to dental offices and office managers who work at dental offices that, or perhaps are between jobs, maybe they're moving perhaps. Our focus really is on helping dental practices avoid the DSO trap and not feel the need to be bought out by a DSO, but enjoy the benefits of centralized billing that the DSOs enjoy. It gives them a competitive advantage, so we offer that to our clients. We also have about 350 right now, 350 billing office managers. We call them account executives and account managers that live all over the country. They work from home. They're fully vetted, over 1,000, I think it's over 100 hours of vetting materials that they have to go through. A series of exams they have to pass before we ever, and of course background checks, before we ever give them an assignment. But we're very happy with our team. And a lot of what you go through here on the podcast, and a lot of the podcast people that you interview, of course, are all these, we call ourselves E-Assisters. And so it's always a pleasure to see how E-Assist has changed their lives and has allowed them to work from home, see their families, make more money, enjoy the practice of dentistry in their way. We received the Inc. 500 award again. This is our second year in a row for the fastest growing companies in America. We're the fastest growing dental company in America for the last 2 years in a row. I think this year we were 427 or 437. I can't remember the exact number. Barely made the top 500. It's hard to make it 2 years in a row. Last year we were like 333 or 337. We should make the Inc. 5000 next year. We're still growing at a rapid rate, but we're doing now over 10 million in revenue. I think we're at a run rate of 14 million, just helping lots of dentists all over the country solve their problems. So we're having a great time, and we're thankful for the award.
Wow, that is wonderful. And I know why Dr. Quintana, my wife, who has a general dentist in Wake Forest, North Carolina, I know why she joined the family of Eassist. We were just drowning in work, doing meaningless tasks that we had no reason for doing. And what was more important was the patience and the service and all of the treatments and the way she goes about it. And sometimes all these distractions got in the way. But I wanted to ask you why you started Eassist.
That's a great question. I am a practicing dentist. I still practice on Tuesdays and Fridays, every other Tuesday and Fridays in 2 different dental offices that I've started. I started 9 dental practices, and the biggest problem you have as a dentist, starting multiple dental practices, is finding office managers that can manage the staff, keep the schedule full, and answer the phone on the first ring, present treatment plans, have the courage to ask for the patient's copay at the time of service, all the while doing it with a smile and building a relationship with patients that lasts. Plus, they also need to be able to be rough and tough with insurance companies and ask insurance companies to cough up the dough. It's a different personality. It's very difficult to find someone that has both skill sets. It's because it requires different ways of thinking. After you talk to the insurance company, you process the claim, you appeal the claim, you then need to make sure you know how to post the debits and credits just right to get your patient's ledgers correct. I had lots of patients who said, "I love your practice, Dr. Anderson, but your billing is all messed up." That was their way of saying, whoever's posting your payments are doing it incorrectly, and you don't realize it. I'm in the back seating crowns and getting margins just right, and my staff in the front is not properly processing whatever and putting the debits and credits in the right place, and I have no idea. They tell me, the patient said, I remember this to this day, I was in operatory 7 in our Roy practice, and she said, "I just love it. I've been a patient for 5 years. But I'm seriously thinking about leaving, and one of my friends left your practice, and here's a letter, an email of why she left. It's because your billing is all messed up. And I need to tell you, whenever I call and talk to them about it, they just say, oh, we're sorry, our mistake, we'll write it off. And you have a problem. So I knew I was in trouble. Before we got to that point, I had a superstar office manager. Her name is Jen Harvey, just fantastic. I found her after 2 months opening up my first practice in 2003. But then she moved. I think it was 2006. She left. Her husband, I don't know why she left with her husband. She loved her husband, I guess. I'm glad she did, but I say that tongue in cheek. But her husband was in the military, got transferred to Washington, and I knew I was in trouble. For 2 years, we found different office managers. We went through. I actually hired and fired different office managers. It was a real struggle. And I felt really badly about letting people go that were underperforming. I didn't know how to train them. That's the thing. In most businesses, the supervisors of the managers know what this person's supposed to do and can help train them in a way and mentor them. But as a dentist, you don't really know and understand what the front office is doing. So you can't mentor them. You just hope you find someone that has the skill. And after 6 months, you know if they do or not. I was in a very difficult situation. My receivables went from 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, 250,000. We're producing about 150, 170 at the time. I knew I was in trouble. I would ask for a copy of the aging report just to see if they were working on it at all, because we didn't have any reports that they had to give me once a week or once a month. Most dentists don't run it like a company. But most real companies require numbers and people to report. They're called KPIs, key performance indicators. So I didn't have really any of that. I was just trusting that they would do it, and if they couldn't get the job done, I started getting mad at them, because that's all I knew how to do. I didn't really know how to manage them using numbers and KPIs and expectations and guiding them. So it was a real challenge for me, a very growing time in my life, in my family's life. It was a lot of stress. But my office manager in my second office that I was working in at the time that I started, her name is Sandy, and she's one of the co-founders with us at Eassist. She said, I went to the internet and I did a search. There's got to be a company that can help me with all my insurance billing. I found companies like Transworld, and I found other collection companies, but all they did was pick up the pieces after the insurance was supposed to be billed and then bill the patients whatever the ledger said that the patients owed. But the problem was the ledgers were wrong. The insurance was never billed properly. Sometimes the claims weren't even submitted. I remember one situation, we had a new employee over the front desk, and she didn't send claims for 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. They were just batched. She didn't realize that she wasn't sending them. 8 weeks. You can't survive with that. I wondered why the numbers kept going up. So I did an internet search, couldn't find anyone. Sandy said, let's just start our own. So we did. We found 2 people that were really good at billing. I didn't have enough space in my office, though, so I had to find a way to allow them to work remotely. And it couldn't be just something as simple as LogMe In or TeamViewer. But those things are too slow. It's way too slow. That's called remote control, and sometimes there's HIPAA compliant issues with all that. So we use a HIPAA compliant software-based VPN that uses terminal services very fast, very quick to actually understand. And that's all built into Windows servers. So we found a way, I won't get too technical, but we found a way to make it all work without investing any extra money in tech. We already had the tech, essentially. And we were able to find 2 wonderful people. But more than just that, I then asked them to tell me what they did every day. And I wanted them to report on that every day. So if you recall, all of our Eassist clients, they get a daily email that tells them what our people have been doing for that day, how many claims they submitted, how many claims they appealed, how many errors they found, how they fixed those errors. Of course, it lists your production, your collections, your receivables, your over 90-day insurance, and all that, and patient portion receivables. But more importantly, it allows the person doing the billing to absolutely focus in on their task at hand and be accountable to the client in a report. Your office managers, they're not doing that. They don't ever give you a report to tell you how many claims they appealed, do they?
Not at all.
So no, they don't. So until you start breaking the process down, in a business process, and that's what we do, you can't really measure it. You can't really drive it. You can't really hold people accountable for their They call these leading indicators. One of the best books I found on that, Andreas, is called The Four Disciplines of Execution. It's by the Franklin Covey Group, the guys that used to make the day planners. It really explains what a leading indicator is versus a lagging indicator. I recommend that every dentist read it. It's a really good read on like basic business KPIs, how you distinguish the two and how you use them. So that was the idea. We started it. Within 6 months, our receivables dropped from $250,000 down to $100,000. We solved the problem. We had a system. Problem was all the checks were coming to me, and I knew that in order for us to replicate this, I had to figure out how to do it without touching any money and keeping all the money in the office that produced it. Because I shortly had a client, or his brother actually is one of our clients, but a classmate his name's Warren Willis. He's got a great practice up there in Idaho, who Emmett Dental, I think is what it's called, but he and a few others. He said, "Hey, I have the same problem. Can you help me?" And then I had a classmate, Dr. Brian Borg, down in Riverton. He's got a great practice down there, who said, not a classmate, but an associate, a former associate. He said, "I have the same problem. Can you help me?" And we figured out a way to allow us to do this for people that we didn't have any ownership in. This was 8 years ago, 2008. And so it grew from there. The first couple of years, we only had like 10 clients. Now we have clients in every state, clients in Canada. We get about 40 new clients a month. So we have a lot of systems in place now to make things work and grow in ways that we didn't have to before. It's been a great experience. I'm glad we've been able to help lots of dentists. It's been fun.
Wow. And for our eAssist audience out there, what Dr. Anderson is talking about is real, ladies and gentlemen, because, for example, in our office, patients love me. Okay, I know them all by first name. I give them hugs in the waiting room. But the very few times when there's a disagreement, it most of the time has to do with an incorrect bill that comes home, and they get frustrated. And we've lost one or two patients because of those issues. And the other thing you mentioned about the team that we have, Doc, is that our eAssist team, I feel like they're brothers and sisters now, because I have interviewed a lot of them over the course of 17 or 18 episodes, and they have the answer to everything. But I have another important question here. They do. And
wait. I just want to say, there are times where consultants will ask me a question thinking that I have all the answers when it comes to dental billing, and I do not, and I don't pretend that I do. It is a skill set that has to be forged in experience, and some of our people have 20, 30 years, 40 years experience. Some of them,
yes,
most have at least 10. And so whenever we have a question from a consultant, I just send it over to our team, and I'll get 30 responses back. And some have the similar approach, and others have a different approach. There's not one way to do it. Just like dentistry, there's not one way to cut a crown or one way to diagnose a solution to a problem that a patient might have. And in order to treatment plan better, your skills are forged through experience and trial and error from time to time. And so our people are that way too. It's just a community of successful people that dentistry needs. And we need more of them too. If you're listening to this podcast and you're an office manager and you have the skill, you want to work from home, be your own boss, make more money than you probably are now in your office, but working from home, we'd love to have you be a part of the team. If you are a dentist and you have this problem and you're struggling with finding someone that knows how to do these things and you have these issues, there's no long-term contract. It's all month to month. We earn your business month after month. I hate those long-term contracts. I mean, I'm a dentist, so I want to earn your business, right? I don't want to be forced into something forever.
Yes, and
That's how we do it.
We have consultants and hygienists on our team as well.
Yeah, we do.
So how has eAssist made your life better as a practice owner? Because that's the reason I brought the topic about our eAssisters. But I want to know your opinion about how it has made you a better practice owner.
Okay, it becomes the backbone of your practice. So, for instance, we had a situation about a year ago. We had one of our office managers, maybe I need to say allegedly, but we do have direct evidence that this was going on, and she actually quit at 2:00 in the afternoon one day because she was doing some punch clock fraud. She was remoting in on Saturday, and she was saying that she was working all day and never came into the office. And then she was punching herself out at 5:00 at night or whatever. And I'm not sure how much money she stole from us that way. So what happened was we caught wind of it. It went on for about 6 weeks. We found out about it. I wish her the best. I hope she's just figuring out her life wherever she is. But she left at 2:00 in the afternoon when we just had simple questions and wanted to talk to her about it. And it was just, and then she lied to the detective. It was just a mess. But the reason why I bring it up is because of eAssist, I knew that we didn't have to hire the first warm body that came into the office looking for an office manager job. As soon as she left and was gone, we had an opening, right? And if without eAssist, if you don't have someone come in and immediately fill that position, your claims are going to be stacking up. I mean, it becomes a serious problem. And most dentists don't keep enough cash flow to cover even a month's worth of expenses. We don't have to. We usually don't do that. Maybe we have half, 2 weeks worth of expenses. Who knows? Some have a month, but no more than that. If you have to hire the first person that comes in because you have this huge motivation, huge desire to get your claims out because you don't know how to get them out, you're in trouble. You'll make the wrong hiring decision. And so that's like number one. I have this peace of mind knowing that no matter what happens, if someone gets hit by a car tomorrow, that's the office manager, or if she gets pregnant and has to go on maternity leave and doesn't come back, or her husband moves her somewhere else, or vice versa, if it's the male, if her spouse takes her, then we don't have to ever worry about being worried about hiring someone right away to get the claim sent out. Like, this is always under control. That peace of mind is incredible. To me, that's like the number one thing. To know that no matter what happens, I don't have a superstar who I have to give a raise to every month that has this secret information that she keeps secret because she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. Like, I just want it to function. I want teams that are cross-trained. I want it to work. Best practices are that you don't have somebody who only one person has the skill in the office to do it, to do a certain thing in case of the scenarios that I just described. Most dental offices have one front office manager, sometimes two, sometimes three, sometimes four. I have four in my two main practices. We do about $2 million in each one, and we have two associates in each one, and they're great. The partners are great. They do a great job. We share a lot, and it works out well. But eAssist allows it to all happen. I have peace of mind, number two, knowing that the money's going to be coming in. I mean, sometimes your office manager gets focused on, and you want her focused on your people in the practice and the patients in the practice. And then all of a sudden, she needs to spend time on the aging report, so she'll start calling insurance companies asking why they haven't copped up the dough. Andres, we have this. It's my favorite part of our newsletter. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, I hope you do. It's just free information about how to do dental billing. And my favorite little section is the eAssist worst claim stories. And I have two good ones now they're some of my favorite. The first one is this insurance company just kept saying, "Hey, we haven't paid this bill because of this claim because we haven't received your X-rays." And our eAssister, we have our own vernacular now. We call each other eAssisters, right? Our eAssister had sent the X-rays, had faxed them multiple times, and even used NEA, from what I understand. But it didn't. They said they wouldn't accept it, and they couldn't see it. So she revved up the fax machine, and she faxed and faxed and faxed for 2 hours the same document, over and over and over again, until the lady at the insurance company finally called her up and said, "Oh, Tanya, I've got it. I've got the fax. I've got it. All right, we'll pay it.
Oh,
so sometimes it takes that kind of tenacity. Another one I just read recently, I think it was Lindsay Salazar. She said that she sent in a claim and she put some white on the claim because she had to change something, and the people would scratch. It was a manual claim. They would scratch off the white out. Like, even though she typed over it, they would scratch it off so they wouldn't have to pay the claim.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
I know. So you have to just keep resubmitting and playing their game sometimes.
And that takes time.
It does take time. And by having eAssist there, you have the peace of mind knowing that your staff's always okay. And then number two, the money's always going to be coming in. You have someone focused just on insurance, so your staff can focus on the patients. And the combination of those two efforts allows you to bring in more money than you've ever had before. It just works month after month after month after month after month.
That's incredible. And the next question, one of my favorite parts, is that I don't ever have to do another insurance appeal ever again as long as I have eAssist. Right, okay. But I wanted to ask you about the services that you provide to your clients. What are the services that eAssist provides its clients?
Well, you bet. Our core product is what you just described. We do all of our invoice. We send all of the claims. We follow up on all the claims, all the denied claims and claims that never weren't sent to the right insurance company and that kind of thing. And then finally, we appeal all the claims, and then we post all the claims. That's our core business. Most of our customers all have that. Some don't, but most of them do, and that's what attracts people to us mostly initially. But we also have a dental accounting business. So all of our products support our core business to help our dental offices have less stress, have the money come in. Another problem I had as a dentist is an accountant. I went through 8 different bookkeepers, not a CPA. I have one great CPA. His name's Greg Snyder, does a great job. Based out of Utah, does a great job. But I went through 8 different bookkeepers, and they always wanted to keep their QuickBooks on their own computers, and I was always worried about it being backed up right, and I was always worried about I could never get the profit and loss statement. Sometimes one of them went on maternity leave and didn't pay some credit cards. We had them do my bill pay too, and I had a bunch of late fees. I mean, it was just really bad. Mm-hmm. And I struggled with it. So we thought we could do better than this. Let's make our own. Let's just do the same thing we did for our core product, our insurance billing, and then let's do it for accounting. And so we move all of our clients to QuickBooks Online. Finally, you can always have access to your QuickBooks at any time. We pay for that fee, the monthly fee. It's very inexpensive because of our volume for us, and we absorb that. It's built into your price, and it's very, very affordable. You can learn more at dentalaccounting.com about this. But we do all the bookkeeping for you. All the numbers match. You have your profit and loss statement emailed to you. If you don't want to go access it on QuickBooks Online, you'll get it. It's automated. I think it's by the 5th or the 10th of the following month. And your balance sheet, statement of cash flows, all that stuff is all there. You can generate it through QuickBooks. But one of the great features we have too is an EFT feature. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the EFT problem that has been created by these checks now that are no longer sent to dental offices?
Yes.
Okay. So, more and more insurance companies are no longer sending physical checks. The problem, the advantage that has is you get the money like in 5 days, you get it faster. But the disadvantage is you no longer have a physical check in the office, and sometimes insurance companies will post it to the wrong account. Oh. If you ever have an associate that used to work in your office, for instance, sometimes when they leave, or if you used to work in another office and then you came into yours, sometimes you'll get money that's supposed to go to the other guys that you used to work for, you'll get it. And sometimes the money that you're supposed to get will go to them. I don't know how it happens, but your name gets tagged to a certain office, and they don't really ever take it off. And sometimes I don't know why insurance companies do this, but they make this mistake all the time, and it's a real problem. And so, but when you have physical checks, it's easy. You have the check, and you know if it didn't show up, you can call them up and ask them. But if it's and then you're depositing it. But if it's an EFT, all you do is get an email saying, "Hey, this money was deposited into your bank account." Sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. Like sometimes you didn't get it. There are times where it didn't clear. And so you have to trust the insurance company that it actually cleared, even though you didn't make the deposit to the bank. Like, how do you know that you can really post the patient's ledger at that time? How do you know? You don't. And most dentists are not aware this is a problem.
No, I know for sure.
The staff is just posting them, but not eAssist. eAssist people with eAssist dental accounting, we don't do that. We have software we built that will extract the information out of QuickBooks Online for all the insurance EFTs that were cleared, generate an email. It's all automated, and it's sent to anyone that does the billing and posts the ledgers. If you're an eAssist client, a core client, then our eAssisters will get it, and you'll get a copy of it. But if you're not one of our core clients, that's fine. You'll just get the email, and whoever does the posting and your person on your staff, on your office can post with authority, with all assurance, knowing that these claims have been the checks have cleared. The money is in your bank. If you don't do this and use this service, and we're the only service that offers that, from what I understand, I probably have to put a patent on it. I'll patent pending. We'll figure it out. But otherwise you have to give your office manager access to your bank account, and you don't want to do that if you're a dentist. You don't want to see how much money you got coming in, or maybe you don't have coming in. I mean, that's sensitive information. So unless someone has access to it, this is the only way I know to make it really clean for you. It's very affordable. It's not very expensive at all to do that. So that's our dental accounting service. We then have a medical claim, dental medical billing. Of course, many of the affordable healthcare plans actually require you to bill medical before you bill dental. Are you aware of that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Even if the medical is not going to pay, if you're not going to pay at all, you have to send a medical claim before they'll accept your dental claim. That's nonsense. That is nonsense. I mean, we've been separated from the medical guys forever. Why are they doing this? It's got to change. It's got to be fixed. But right now, it is the law of the land. So that's a problem. You have to submit a medical claim, otherwise your dental claim may, not for all plans, but for many of them, you can't submit a dental claim. So it's very challenging. That's a whole different skill set. Sometimes it takes an hour to submit a medical claim.
And the majority of dental offices don't know how to bill medical. Would you say?
No, they don't.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't. And so there are a few companies out there, and I even had one that called me up and wanted me to buy him out because what we're offering is just it's just a game changer. We're offering a flat rate. I think we just raised our prices to $35 per claim for 2018, but a flat rate with no monthly fee, like no percentage of what we collect or anything, just a flat rate of $35 to submit the claim, follow up on the claim, get the claim paid. You would take your office manager about an hour to figure this out and do it. So someone has to do it. Pay us instead, and that way your staff doesn't have to worry about knowing how to do it. Because you don't do it if you're not doing it, just like a crown, it's a perishable skill. Or doing root canals, molar endo, it's a perishable skill. If you're not doing it all the time, you become less efficient at it. And so our people are very efficient at sending medical claims. That's our medical claim service. We also will bill medical claims for sleep apnea devices. Yes. And for some implants and things, if it's medical, if it's an injury or something that claims will pay for. So, right. Then we have an insurance verification product where we will actually do a complete breakdown, not just verify like what's built into Dentrix and Open Dental if they have insurance or not, but a complete breakdown of 100 codes, like your most used codes, whatever code you want, so that when the client shows up, and you give them a treatment plan, you can give an accurate treatment plan. Like that's huge, and it's just coming out of beta right now. We've been beta testing that for about a year and a half, and so we're real happy about that. And then we have a credentialing product that's in the works that we're going to be doing for helping you credential all of your doctors for the office. And then we've got some other top secret stuff that I can't announce, but I will be announcing it at SCN, the Speakers Consultant Network.
Yes,
we'll have a booth there. We're sponsoring that. We're a diamond sponsor for that, and we'll be announcing that. It's hopefully it'll help. We believe, without a doubt, it's going to. You always need to promote stuff, but I really believe, and I want to be sincere, that it is a game changer when it comes to consultants and helping dentists. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll find a way to help keep the DSOs from buying out, changing our cottage industry, right? I said that I started 9 dental practices, and some people might say, well, weren't you kind of a DSO? No, not at all. I would start a single practice and I'd sell it to a dentist. So that was kind of that's been my mission, is to help dentists thrive and maintain our cottage industry. I think it's important. I love our culture. So I usually build big enough for group practices, so there's 2 dentists there, and then sell it to a dentist and go from there. But I just have 2 practices now that I own and operate, and that's different than a DSO. It's a healthy group practice.
And I love that, because every time I hear you speak, Dr. Anderson, you're always talking about how you love to help the dental profession. I have a funny story, because when I started telling Dr. Quintana about eAssist about a year and a half ago, I was mentioning decreasing AR and increasing revenue. And then when we got going with eAssist, I said, hey, Jane, you don't have to worry about increasing revenue, because what you're doing is decreasing AR and you're increasing cash flow. So if a dentist doesn't want to work a lot harder, eAssist is there to get you the money faster. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. And if the office staff in the office is doing what they have to do, and that is collecting the insurance card, right? They have to put the information correctly in the computer system so we can build the right insurance plan. And then verifying that the insurance is active, either using our service, our verification breakdown service, or finding another tool and verifying it somehow, so that that the patient isn't lying to them, that they are covered. It is a covered benefit, and it is something that the insurance company will help pay for. Otherwise, the patient has to pay for it at the time of service. If the staff is doing all that stuff just right, and which should be in the office, and they do it, and they do it with a smile, and they build relationships with it. If they do that, then we can do all the back office end fantastically, and we can solve the problem, and we can make the money come in. If they don't, if they struggle with all of that, then sometimes it's a struggle for us too. We have to keep asking them and become a real pest, and even have daily meetings with the office manager to help motivate them and to help move them and help train them. And we see that from time to time when there's turnover in the front. And that's okay. And that's part of what we want to do, because we don't get paid unless you get paid. We take a percentage of, because we're not just a collection company, but we also post too. There isn't any fee splitting here at all. We're posting things and also sending claims. We aren't creating the ADA codes like in the medical profession. So the doctor's creating those. So there isn't any fee splitting issues. But once the money, our goal is we charge 3.5%, 3.0, or 2.5%, depending on how big you are, of what actually gets posted, collected and posted from the insurance that they. So it's our best interest to make sure the staff is doing a good job too. Otherwise, we don't get paid either. And so there's like this dichotomy that we just work together to solve the problem, and there's a synergy that happens. And one thing I didn't say, Andreas, is that one of our newest services that I'm most excited about is our patient portion. We call it patient portion 2.0. Yes. With our own phone number. So I'm not even sure if your office uses this or not, if you're aware that we offer this now. But we now offer a service where we give our clients their own billing department phone number. One of the biggest concerns that front office managers have, one of the things they hate the most, is talking to patients after they send out statements.
Right.
They always have questions about their bills, and it gobbles up a lot of time, and sometimes they're angry. They have to confuse that. They don't like it. And so we figure, let's relieve that pain point. Let's give our clients their own billing department phone number. We'll send the statements out. When people have questions about their bill, they'll call us. We'll research it. We'll communicate it. We'll solve the problem for them. We'll help them understand if they owe money or not. If the estimate was incorrect, that they received at the time of service and why. And solve all of those issues. And it's very affordable. It's like a flat rate, depending on the size of your office. It's very affordable. It's a huge stress relief for your practice. It keeps everybody happy, so they never have to deal with these upset patients and never have to worry about the phone ringing off the hook whenever invoices go out.
And speaking of phone, I have the phone number to eAssist, but what would you say is the best way to get in touch with eAssist right now? If someone out there is saying, I want this, how would you say?
Oh, yeah. Well, a couple ways. Dentalbilling.com is our marquee website for our core business, dentalbilling.com. And we have an online chat there. If you're there for like 60 seconds, somebody will log in and you can chat with them. Mm-hmm. Or the best way to do it, to talk to someone, because often we have to talk to you for 30 minutes or maybe even an hour to answer questions and validate what's happening and see if we can help you, is to call the phone number, 1-844-eAssist. That's right. 844-eAssist. So it's good. We have a great sales team that helps people out, and these are eAssisters. Some of them have an office still, some don't, but it's a great way for us to keep things moving forward.
I remember my first conversation with Michelle Pennington way back when. Yes, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. When I came home, I delayed my family dinner. Well, they had dinner, and I came upstairs and I finished my conversation, which I started as soon as I left the office. I was frustrated, spoke to Michelle. My drive home is about 25 minutes, and I carried the conversation for a total of an hour, and I finished it off at home, and that was amazing. Doc, how does someone apply to work at eAssist and join our
Okay, great question. Mm-hmm. Great question. Just as simple. It's even easier. Well, it takes longer because of all the vetting that needs to happen. We get about 100 applicants right now every month, and I think about 10 pass. There's lots of people that – I even had one – this is a funny story, and then I'll answer your question. I had a radiologist, a dentist, who wasn't practicing, but he was a radiologist. I think he told me he was somewhere in Florida somewhere. I don't know for sure, somewhere in the South. He took our test. He did not pass. But we have the screening test that you take. You log on to dentalbilling.com. You click on careers and then click on apply now, and you'll take this custom test that we created. And no one else has anything like it. And so we screen out for people's skills just to see if they really know what they're talking about. Because you have to, like I said, it takes about 10 plus years to figure this stuff out. And it's a very difficult test. Most people don't pass it, even people that have been in dentistry for 20 years. So this guy did not pass it. This dentist did not pass it. He sent me a scathing email. And when you don't pass it says, "We're sorry you didn't pass it. Please try again in 3 months." I think and here's some resources, some people you could talk to, consultants that might have information to teach you about dental billing. Now, the people I list on that list have no idea I put their names there. I just did a search when I was building this, in 2008. I did a search and I found these resources, and I thought, okay, well, someone didn't take our test, so here's resources. I don't know how legitimate, I don't know how helpful they may be, but there's something out there, and so I'll link to them here. So that's what we do. And he was like, "What a fraud. I took this test. No one can ever pass it. I didn't pass it. I bet no one passes it. And it's all just to sell these billing courses. So when you don't pass, you have to go take these courses." And I was like, no. He's the only guy. He's the only one I've ever sent. I emailed him the key. Like, I emailed him the copy of the key to the test, Andreas.
That's great.
Because I was like, okay, I don't want. We were just starting to get a reputation out there. This was 2008. And we wanted, or 2000, maybe 2012 even. I just want to make sure that it was all right. So that was an interesting experience. It's a simple. You just log on to answer your question. It's a long answer to your question, but there's a good story there. Log on to dentalbilling.com, click on careers, click on apply now. The test will take you about an hour to take, and you can't, I'm not sure if you can stop and start. So, like, be ready, have like 3 hours if you need to. Mm-hmm. Because it's a one-time shot. If you don't pass it the first 3 hours, the first time you take it, you have to wait 3 months.
Gotcha. And
from what I understand. And then after you take the test, there's 100 hours of vetting materials you have to take just for us to make sure. And you can retake the vetting materials, but you want to make sure we're not training you, but we're just making sure that you have the skill set that is required. And so there's some great material there too to help people grow.
Yeah, that was a great story, by the way. But some of the girls I have talked to on the podcast, they have told me that when they first saw the ad, they said, "This is too good to be true." And guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? It was true. It was all true because eAssist has changed their lives. So what makes eAssist different than some of the other copycat companies that have recently formed?
Yeah, there are a few. We even had one that ripped off our website word for word and almost, and was pretending that she was eAssist. But I can't talk any more about that. I've talked to my attorney about that one. But I think what makes us different, absolutely different, 100%, are all of our people. We've got the best people in the industry. They all work from all over the country. Like, one of the biggest problems you have, like I said, is if you're in a smaller community or even a larger community, if you're trying to find an office manager to work in your office, it's very hard to find when you need them for the 2 weeks or 2 months that you're trying to hire. It's very hard to find someone with the skill. It's very, very hard. Or if you're an office manager and you're growing a successful practice and you need an assistant to do your billing, it's very hard for you to find someone in your community. And so our people are able to work some of our people live in Hawaii and they work in offices in New York, and they're really, really good at what they do. The people that work in my offices are in Michigan. We have some people in Washington. I had someone in St. George, Utah, 5 hours away. He was helping us for a time when we first started a long time ago. So our people are the very best. They really are. Our screening test, no one has anything like it. All of our background checks, all of our examinations, all of our vetting, all that stuff is proprietary to us. It really gives us the best people. Number two, all of our reports. No one else gives you daily reports. We spent about $1 million developing software that allows for these automated reports to go to the client. You get them, right, Andreas?
Yes. And
you know what I'm talking about.
Not only that, the team feels like eAssist is in our office. And that's another thing I want to point out, Doc, is that when eAssist came in, there was no threat that anybody was going to lose their jobs. It was almost like, wow, what a relief. They were so easy to work with. And it's about the culture in the company. And how we train, how you train them, that it just makes a difference. But sorry to interrupt.
And that was the last thing I was going to say. You took it right out of my mouth. The culture we've built is something very unique. We have a yearly summit, a yearly gathering. Dr. Charles Blair actually was invited to come and speak at our last gathering, and I can announce this now. We have a special deal that we've inked with him. for all of our eAssist customers to be able to use Practice Booster online for free. And we're just trying to work out the bugs to get that launched and rolled out, hopefully by Q2 of 2018.
Yeah.
But I can make that a public announcement now, and we'll do a press release when we get there. We're real excited about that. So all of our clients are going to be able to use Practice Booster for free. For you to find the best codes to use when you're coding and doing treatment. None of our clients offer that. It's an exclusive arrangement we have with him. But our culture is incredible. We focus on solving problems. There's a story called Message to Garcia that we use. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of that story before?
Yes, from you.
From me. We even give out Message to Garcia awards at our yearly summit, right? So we give out 16, I think, one for each region. And it's usually somebody who is solving a problem. I recommend that as a doctor that you go and as a leader running a company, go do a Google search for Message to Garcia, see what it is. I got the idea from Larry H. Miller. He's the owner of the Utah Jazz. This guy's a self-made millionaire. Yes. Self-made millionaire. Maybe even billionaire. I don't know, before he passed away. The guy came from nothing. Didn't have a college degree. He was actually sent to jail when he was 16 years old by his mom. I know. It was awful. I think it's because he made like a walkie-talkie in his bedroom or something. And his mom thought he was up to no good. And so she had the police put him in jail for 6 weeks. And that's not any way to parent. Like, it's awful. So he has all these emotional scars. And he says he was like 29 years old. He had 3 kids. He had to decide who he was going to be. And he started a car dealership, took risks like what all dentists do. And it worked. He sold cars. And then bought another car dealership, and then bought another car dealership. And so I kind of like patted. He was a huge influence in my life. I started 9 dental practices because I was like, well, this is Larry Miller did it. He just kept buying new car dealerships. I'll just keep starting new dental practices to see how it feels. I want to see where it takes me and see how many jobs I can create. And so in this book, he writes about the Message to Garcia as part of his culture. He says that everybody reads it, they understand it. When someone says, get the Message to Garcia delivered, they know what it means. And I think we've done a really good job at eAssist incorporating that too in our culture.
And I have a testimonial for you, Doc, because when I was at Summit, this is kind of going to lead into the next question later, but the team at eAssist was using that Message to Garcia in the podium as they were all receiving those wonderful awards that they received for their performance for all year of 2017. And It's just really nice to see people adopt what it is the message is into their work. And I just have to give it to you that was beautiful to see from the audience.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. And I really enjoyed it. I even got a little emotional watching, hearing some of the stories and seeing people succeed and grow and become their best selves. It's really what we're trying to do. And I think I learned that as a dentist. When I finally realized that my role needs to be to build assistants, not tear them down. I need to build my front office staff and not just tear them down. If I don't lead with fear, but if I lead with love and with compassion and with wisdom and knowledge, you'll have people that will do the best for you and for your staff and for your practice. It's an important skill that most younger dentists are not aware of. It's so easy when someone makes a mistake just to yell at them. It's so easy when you're so stressed as a dentist. And you have patients who say, no offense, doc, but I sure hate coming to see you. It gets old real fast. Yes. And then when an assistant drops something or the assistant doesn't put the blue bite in and doesn't have, I remember I had one assistant who didn't take an impression of a tooth before it was about to take a crown. Right. So when it was time to do a temporary crown, it's like, why didn't you do this? How could you not do this? And it's just so easy to yell at them. And that's not how you lead. Exactly. Don't lead that way.
And I know that is all important, but something that's really important here is that what is it that you learned at the Harvard Business School that about incorporating into eAssist? What did you learn there?
That's a great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So I just finished up their version of an executive MBA. It's called OPM, Owner President Management. It's only for people that run companies that have at least $10 million in revenue, and a combination of my offices and eAssist qualified me. And then about 10% of the people actually get accepted that apply. But what's great about it is most of the people are from all over the country, all over the world. I mean, only like 20% of my classmates were from America. The rest are from all over the world. Most were successful. Half of them were silver spooners. Like we had a lord from London, one of my classmates, who became really good friends, and some others. And they're really good people. That wasn't my life story. I'm an American that came from nothing and tried to solve problems for people, right? Like most of us in America. And about half my classmates were that same way, even though they weren't Americans. We had people like that from India, from Brazil, from all over. So it was like a global perspective of how, as a human family, we're all trying. The most noble pursuit for any man or woman, in my opinion, is to create jobs for people, to help people have money to feed their families and have their temporal needs met. If the temporal needs are met, then their spiritual needs can be met. I mean, it's just like a combination of all this. So that was the experience of seeing a worldview experience different from a typical my view I had before I started the program. It's a 3-year program. I just graduated, and now I'm a Harvard alum, HBS alum after that.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Yes. I appreciate that. And then number two, there's something called a balanced scorecard and strategy, the way to hook strategy in with execution. You study a number of business cases from offices that have succeeded and offices that have businesses that have succeeded and businesses that have failed. And it's not rocket science. There is a science to it that dentists sometimes will downplay and pretend doesn't exist. But the idea of look up balanced scorecard and try to implement that in your office. I think it would be a successful way to do it. And then there's something called Net Promoter Score. Have you ever heard of that before?
No, I haven't.
There was a concept introduced in 2003 by one of the Harvard professors in a Harvard Business Review article. And I recommend every dentist read Harvard Business Review that's serious about running their practices. I like to read Harvard Business Review every month more than I like to read the JADA magazine. Now, some of my professors would be aghast at dental school. I went to Oregon, and they would call the Harvard Business Review a throwaway journal. It's absolutely not a throwaway journal. Sometimes I look at JADA as a throwaway journal, but don't quote me on that.
Right.
So it's just, I appreciate what they do, and the profession needs that, but it also needs guys like us that can run a business and make it work. So the Net Promoter Score, the whole idea behind that is to focus there's a book called The Ultimate Question 2.0 that you can listen to on Audible or buy the Kindle version. I highly recommend every dentist read that. We're actually going to partner up with a software company that'll be offering this to dentists, and we're going to try to work a deal where all of our eAssist clients can get it for free. But to actually track your Net Promoter Score, most companies are doing this. It's a metric or a system to help you determine how well people like your business. Have you ever had one of those surveys at the end of like buying a ticket from Delta Dental or Delta Airlines, or maybe you bought something online and you're asked on a scale of 1 to 10,
yes,
would you refer our business to someone else?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Net Promoter Score. You just ask one question to clients, and it's that question. On a scale of 1 to 10, would you recommend our services or our company to someone else? If they're a 9 or 10, they're a promoter. If they're a 7 or 8, they're neutral. They don't count for you or against you. If it's 6 or less, they're a detractor, and they're going to count against your score. It's a very simple score to calculate. You can go online and read it. Bain, Mitt Romney's old company, Bain has Bain has a formula. You can find it. The guy that wrote the book works for Bain. It's really simple. It's open source. You can utilize it. And I even think Solution Reach right now has something that if you use their product, they'll track a Net Promoter Score. I don't know how efficient it is, but I think this new company is going to do a much better job at it. It's going to be very affordable and free for our clients. But it's a way for you to know how well you're doing without looking at your Google reviews. Like once the Google review hits, you're too late.
I got to look at that.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to track it on a number. It goes from -100 to +100. And like Apple, for instance, Apple stores, when they first started, they had a Net Promoter Score of 53, I think, and now they have one of 71 on average. Now, anything above 50 is really, really good. Some car rental places like Alamo and National, they use Net Promoter all the time to, and they're owned by Enterprise, and it's the nation's largest or the world's largest rental car company. It used to be Hertz, but these guys use Net Promoter Score to leapfrog Hertz and have become the best in the last 10 years. It was introduced not even 20 years ago. It was 2003, and it's taken the business world by storm. It hasn't yet taken dentists by storm, but I think this little company is going to launch they're going to offer a couple products. It's going to be, one of them is going to be called Office Dental Office QB, I think is what it is. It's a way to track how long patients are waiting in your rooms using Apple Watches. It's going to be great.
Wow.
And then you get a daily report or a weekly report that tells you how long people had to wait for doctors to come in and do exams and whatever. So you can call patients that maybe your front staff can call patients that are struggling. And then they have a net promoter score system so that you know what your net promoter score is. And that's like the one critical KPI that every dentist office should know. It's not how many Google reviews I have. It's what's my NPS score, right?
Well, that's...
If you know...
This is why I thought this question was so much fun, because you are so passionate about this, Doc. I really love it. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. And there's so much more too, for marketing, the sales, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think just lifetime learning is important. Just read an article from Harvard Business Review every week. And my wife likes to take Sunday naps, and when she does that, I'll just read a Harvard Business Review article and try to learn something new. You learn enough in life to know how much you don't know, right? Right. Yeah. Like at all. And it's when you're a cocky teenager, you think you know it all. Yeah. Some of them do. But some people, I even have some patients who are still like that, who think that they know it all. You know, they usually are missing all their teeth and whatever, but they know all the answers. Right. Not their habits, Doc. It's not them. It's their genetics.
Well, speaking of learning, we're almost near the end here. We have learned so much today about submitting dental and medical, filing secondary claims and wasting time doing that, and maybe handing it off to eAssist, your insurance AR calls, prior authorizations, you name it, appeals, the proper letters and attachments. eAssist can do all this for you. But I have a really important question, Doc, and that is, how can dental offices become more profitable?
Well, I think it's going to sound like a very simple answer, but I really think if you do the right thing, and you always treatment plan the right, you want to fix something and you want to fix it right. You want to fix it one time, and you're honest with your patients. You look them in the eye and they believe you and they trust you, and they'll follow you. Like, that's fundamental. If you have that in place, and then you're efficient in what you do, you're fast at what you do. You don't waste time. You're always trying to make sure the bottleneck is you and not somebody else. Those are like fundamental business principles that if you're doing those things, you're going to have a lot of promoters out there. You have lots of patients. Doesn't matter how much money you spend on advertising. If people don't like your practice, you're wasting money. Mm-hmm. But the reason why so many practices can succeed without a lot of advertising is because they have promoters everywhere. And so if people are promoting your practice and they absolutely love your practice, and they are net promoters, so to speak. If they just love your practice, they refer their families and friends. You don't have to ask them or beg them, but you just wow them. You will succeed. Now, I believe that every modern dental practice needs to be big enough to have at least 2 dentists. So the way I've been successful with ours is to have at least 7 operatories, at least, sometimes 8, but at least 7. So you can have 3 hygiene operatories and 2 doctors working full time. Now, we're not open. I'm not there 6 days a week, but I was when I first started for the first 6 years. But somebody else is. We're always open. We're always available. We're a modern dental practice. We don't use any mercury. Like we are, it's what patients want. Mm-hmm. And we do it with a smile. If you can do that, remember, your staff is like the secret to all of it. If your staff is loving the patient and they love them and they love your assistant and everything's competent and the systems are all in place and things are working and it's just flowing, and you have like daily checklists. That's one of the things we do. I teach at Roseman Dental University. They asked me to be the chairman of their dental MBA board recently, and I don't think I've even announced it on my LinkedIn page yet, but I'm pretty happy about that. And I was there speaking about this very topic. This was actually a 10-hour lecture. I spoke twice. We had 2 short breaks. To answer this question, how you build a successful dental practice. I'm actually going to give the lecture at the Yankee Conference. I think it's what it's called, the end of January in Boston. Maybe it's a different name, but I'm going to give that lecture there. So I invite people that might maybe listening, may be interested in my point of view, how to build a successful $1 million, $2 million dental practice. There's a lot more to fill in than what I have here, but I've answered the question as concisely as I can.
That's great. That's great. Well, I have to say something openly because I'm like a spectator at a sporting event, and I just watch, understanding the business, how you make people's lives better. And let me just stretch that a little bit, because you're making your team's life better. You're putting them in a great situation from working from home. But the other thing you're doing that nobody, some people are realizing this, is that you're making dental offices better as well. The teams can take time off. The office managers now can have more time off. The dentists can also have time off and be more profitable. Your company is just making the profession better. And I don't know if I could have said it any other way, but that was my way. So,
well, I really appreciate that. I just got an email from one doctor in Washington. He said, "I love Eassist so much. He's been a client now for years. I want to invest in your company." And then I had another one who said, "If this is as good as I think it is, I just can't wait to sign up." So we're hoping, and our goal is to be open source, so our open book. So feel free to always email us, talk with us about any concerns you might have, any questions you might have. Every office has 3 people on offices, so there's quality control checks in place. We've done our best to ensure that things work as advertised. Our brand promises that we'll help you collect 100% of what is rightfully billed to the insurance company.
Well,
that's our goal.
Great. Well, there you have it. Go to eassist.com. And Doc, I really want to thank you for making my life better and other people's lives better. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, I really want to thank you for coming on the show. And I really wish you a great week.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm so glad you do this. And I'm looking forward to hearing more E-Assisters on the show for 2018, as well as dental offices coming on board. I know we're going to start giving out top doctor awards to dental offices and have them on the show. I'm looking forward to seeing where you take the podcast. The more knowledge and the more people we can help promote, the better the world's going to be, right?
Yes.
So thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll talk to you soon.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We love to put the spotlight on the individuals for their outstanding work for our clients.